This Red Sox prospect may be the name to pay attention to this season. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and thank you very much for clicking on this video. We talk a lot about prospects on this channel. Younger prospects, older prospects, we talk about them all right here on Red Seat Radio. But a lot of the times when we're talking about these guys, I get a comment of, this is great, but they're a middle infielder or an outfielder. What about the other positions? Well, let's talk about one guy today that could absolutely take over one of the positions on the Boston Red Sox. I'm talking about first base / corner outfield prospect Justin Gonzales, who was signed last season during the international player signing period. He was signed for a signing bonus of $250,000, which would put him as the 6th highest paid prospect they had back in 2024, according to SoxProspects.com. Now, originally, Justin was signed as a center fielder. However, once he got into the Red Sox system, they realized that at 6'4", 210, and just 17 years old, he's probably more suited for either a first base or a corner outfield position, with most people assuming that he is going to be end up a first baseman. Now, he is right-handed both with his glove and his bat, so another sort of interesting addition to this Red Sox system, considering a lot of the Red Sox top prospects are going to end up being lefties at the major league level. Justin Gonzales, he hits from the right side of the plate. So why should you be excited about a 18-year-old just getting over to the States for the Boston Red Sox? Well, it's because Justin Gonzales absolutely mashes. In these first tastes of professional baseball, which was in the Dominican Summer League last season, Justin hit .320 with a .391 on base percentage and a .517 slug, good for a 140 WRC plus. Basically, at just 17 years old, he was 40% better than the average Dominican Summer League player. Now, the rest of those guys are also 16 to 19 years old, but still very, very impressive end up baseball card type statistics from Justin Gonzales. But it's more than just the bag of the baseball card statistics that really stand out about Justin Gonzales, and that's a big reason why a lot of people are very excited about who he can be. What I mean by this are the statistics that you got to go a little bit beyond just did he get on base and did he hit it really, really far, right? I'm talking about things like his approach at the plate, whether or not he can lay off an off-speed pitch in the dirt, whether or not he can recognize spin on a slider versus spin on a changeup. And Justin Gonzales, for 18, is doing extremely well in those categories, because last season, again, in his very first taste of professional baseball, he was really, really patient at the plate, to the point where he only struck out 10.4% of the time. And what's also really impressive is not only was he making a lot of contact and avoiding a lot of swing and miss, he was also really controlling the zone very well. In fact, last season, on top of having a 10.4 strikeout rate, he almost walked the exact same amount of times as he struck out, with a walk rate of 9.9%. He only struck out one more time than he walked in his first taste of professional baseball, 20 strikeouts to 19 walks. And I think that's really important, right? You could have all this power in the world. You could be naturally gifted where you're already 6'4", 210, probably a bit taller at this point, and probably weighing a bit more at this point, which led to just simply natural power at the plate. But to be able to combine that with being able to be patient, being able to understand a count, understand a pitcher's approach is really, really important. And Justin Gonzales obviously has a long way to go with this approach, but he's in a really good place to start, and that's head over heels above where a lot of his other peers are at currently in this situation. But that's not to take away from the fact that this dude can absolutely hit some tanks. Again, you go back to his first taste of professional baseball, and it was 5 home runs, 11 doubles, and 4 triples in 47 games, which is nothing to shake your head at, but it could potentially get even better. The one thing right now with Justin is that, yes, he can generate a ton of bat speed, and yes, all that natural power that he was gifted with comes through in games, but he also tends to hit the ball kind of towards the ground, right? He's not getting it lofted in the air as much as I think most scouts and a lot of people in the organization would really like him to get to. Once he gets to a point where he's hitting, or if he can get to a point, I should say, yesterday, where he is hitting the ball in the air a lot more, that home run potential is going to absolutely explode, especially to the pull side. He generates a ton of power as a pull side hitter. Again, right now, his biggest thing is he's got to work on being able to lift that ball off the ground. For example, we don't have a ton of video of Justin Gonzales, mostly because, well, those games really aren't televised, right? But we did get our first taste of him just a little bit in stateside baseball yesterday during a Futures game at JetBlue Park. And during that, he hit a 91-mile-an-hour ground ball, right? And so you sit there and you say, okay, what would that have looked like had you gotten a bit of air on it? These sort of singles and doubles that you're hitting really, really hard into the ground, let's get those in the air and see how many of those bad boys we can put out of this thing, right? And I think what you're talking about here at the end of the day with Justin Gonzales' power potential, you're talking about at minimum, I think, a 25-plus home run hitter, right? Potentially even 30, 35-plus home runs. He's got that natural raw power. It's just about being able to translate that into his swing path, and I think that's something he absolutely has some time to work on, considering this season will be just his age 18 season. So what does this look like combined, right? What does this look like all together? The answer to that question is you kind of have to wait and see, right? There's so much room for Justin Gonzales to grow, but if you just take it what he's been doing and what his profile looks like, you're talking about a player that could be a Tristan Casas-esque prospect by the time he gets up to the higher levels. Now, some people, for some unknown reason, would take that as not so much of a compliment, but for me, that is one of the highest compliments I can give, right? You're talking about a guy who at some point could end up being projected as not only a solid defensive player, because of that experience in the outfield as he transitions over to first base here at just 18, but you're talking about a guy who could also be profiled out to be one of those 30-plus home run, 100-plus RBI type hitters in Major League Baseball. And again, you go back to, okay, who outside of middle infielders and outfielders are making noise in this Red Sox farm system? Justin Gonzales is right there. The big question is, how does he get there? And honestly, the answer is simply experience, right? Justin Gonzales is 18 years old. There are obviously some things that are rough around the edges, and that's natural and normal. He's not the perfect prospect, and that makes sense considering he wouldn't even be old enough to drink in the United States and barely old enough to vote. So obviously there's some stuff he's going to need to work on as he gets over stateside. One of the big things that I think a lot of people are going to be paying attention to with Justin Gonzales over here in the United States, as he most likely will start the year at the bare minimum in the Florida Complex League. I think they've already sort of named him to the Complex League. I wouldn't be shocked if he very quickly makes his way up to low A and high A baseball this season, but that's besides the point. The big thing I think a lot of people are going to be paying attention to is whether or not that pitch recognition continues to improve. He's doing a pretty solid-ish job of it in the Dominican Summer League. It was something that was pointed out by scouts that, hey, this might be something that they really need to hone in on once he gets over to the Complex League, because you're facing 16, 17-year-olds in the Dominican Summer League, right? Obviously you're also 16 and 17, so it feels like really good competition, but once you get over to the States, you sort of get this mix, right? You get a mix of guys coming out of college into the Red Sox farm system. You're getting guys rehabbing and going down there and facing these guys. You're getting guys who are also out of high school, but at United States high school. So you're getting all this mix of different backgrounds and varieties of pitch shapes and all this good stuff from the mound in the Complex League. So that's going to be really interesting. How well does this translate over for Justin Gonzales? I have a feeling it's going to translate over pretty well, considering, again, his very first taste of stateside baseball. He was crushing baseballs on the ground, and then he ripped a hanging slider way over the monster. Unfortunately, I don't have video of that, but he absolutely crushed it, and that's the level of competition he's going to be facing in his first time here in the United States playing baseball. So I don't know, man. There is just such a high ceiling with Justin Gonzales. I think my moral of the story here is, if you're not familiar with Justin Gonzales, 2025 might be the year to get familiar with him, because I think you're going to be seeing a whole lot of his highlights throughout the season. I think he's going to make some legitimate noise in the Red Sox farm system this year. Right now, he's ranked as the 25th best prospect for the Boston Red Sox. I think by the end of the season, especially with all the potential for graduates in this Red Sox farm system right now, he's going to be making his way up. Obviously, still a pretty long way to go until we're talking about what he can do at the major league level. He's not even projected to get close to MLB until 2028, but it's fun. It's exciting, right? It's incredibly encouraging that, you have these incredibly good prospects graduating potentially this season, and then you've just got this wealth of emergence over the last couple of years of these guys who could just, feels like, take the reins from them and really continue to have this super strong Red Sox farm system that continues to generate really big impact players, right? Maybe it's not to the level of 3 top 10 prospects, but these guys like Justin Gonzales, Yoel Cespedes, Franklin Arias, these are position players that are coming and they are ready to take over this Red Sox farm system, and their time is essentially right now. Justin Gonzales is absolutely a player to pay attention to. And again, it's kind of fun talking about a guy who's 6'4", 210, basically a linebacker at just 18 years old here in the Red Sox system, as opposed to one of these, shortstops or center fielders. And obviously, we talk about it all the time. Odds are not every single one of these guys is going to play shortstop for this team. They're going to get spread out, just like Justin Gonzales was when they signed him. But it is kind of fun to talk about an area of depth where the Red Sox don't, on the surface, appear to have some. And there's Justin Gonzales just sitting, waiting for you to know his name and what he could do as he gets older towards Major League Baseball. So absolutely a name to pay attention to. Going to be a ton of fun to watch what the 2024 Latin Position Player of the Year in the Red Sox organization can do stateside. So I'm looking forward to it. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? What do you think of Justin Gonzales? Do you like the profile? What do you think he can be? And do you think he could end up being the future of Red Sox first basing? I don't know, first baseman, first basing, something in like that. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps out a ton. And it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you guys want to listen instead of watch these episodes, the best way to do it is to head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.